Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and it's a beautiful afternoon because it's raining. Much welcome rain because it is very hot here. Okay, so today's video is about something I saw on Facebook which was shared, and it's a YouTube video by the GB News where there's three people talking, three men, one of them being Andrew Doyle, my favorite guy, one of my favorite guys, talking about the Malaysian Minister for Women. She gave some guidelines to women in Malaysia, and it was the guidance on how to strike your wife. Okay? Now, for those who don't know, I live in Malaysia. I'm just not there at the moment because I'm on a world trip, but I've been living there for 30 years. So, disclaimer here, I am not a Muslim. I don't really know the Quran that well. I only know from what I read and what people tell me and from what I read myself and then interpretations, etc. But I don't practice religion. I'm not a Muslim. But because I live in Malaysia, I understand the country. I know the people. I know the laws. And I have friends who are Muslims. So I can only talk from that point of view. But I want to just give my opinion on what has been said. What are these three guys are saying? Now, these are three white guys. One is Andrew Doyle, as I said. Let me play the video and then I will give my feedback.
Guidance on how to strike your wife from the Malaysian Minister for Women and Family, who is a woman. I mean, talk about not reading the room, but...
Well, that's right. You would have thought that's part of her job description. She would be quite pro-woman. And her name is Siti Zaila Mohd Yusof. She's Deputy Minister for Women and Family.
10 out of 10 for that.
Yeah, well, I always attempt to pronounce the names I'm not familiar with, and I hope I did a good job there. Could have mispronounced it, I don't know. But she's basically said that if women are non-compliant with their husbands, she put out this Instagram video sort of suggesting that maybe, firstly, don't sleep with the wife, and then ultimately, if the women are still non-compliant, then just gently beat them.
Okay, so that was Andrew Doyle speaking. Now, everything he said that, if she did say this, now I don't know because I didn't see a video of her saying this, but I'm sure she must have because that's why they're talking about it. Now, if she's saying that she's not pulling that out of her backside. That is probably, and not probably, it is, in the Quran. Okay, so if she's saying that stuff, that it's coming from the highest authority, which is Allah. So basically, you cannot be saying, oh, the Malaysian Minister of Women said this. It should be, oh, the Malaysian Minister for Women said this, which comes from the Quran, which means it is from the highest authority, which is Allah. You see, you have to say the whole thing. Because it's not something that she's just making up, it's something that it's from the Quran, okay? It's from God. So she's just telling women what God said, okay? So that's my opinion on that, and that's what I have to say about that. If anybody else thinks that's wrong, then you let me know, because maybe it's not from God, maybe it's not in the Quran, maybe when she says that, she's just making it up.
Now, look, we've got to remember, however, that she's part of a very conservative Islamic party. Malaysia, the official religion of Malaysia is Islam.
Which is true. The official religion of Malaysia is Islam, and the majority of people in Malaysia are Muslims, and they are governed under Sharia law. Because in Malaysia, there are two laws. There's the federal law, which is very secular. That's everybody is governed under that. But especially when it comes to family law and women's issues and stuff like that, which is family law, Muslims are governed under Sharia law. So which means if you govern under Sharia law, the law comes from the Quran, and if she's talking this. If this is from the Quran, then that means she is quoting from the Quran, which is from God, because God is the highest authority, right? So let's remember that.
Sharia compliant. It's
She's calling for female flight attendants to wear uniforms in compliance with Sharia law, which is right, because you know, if you're Muslim and you are governed under Sharia law, so obviously you have to comply. So I don't see a discrepancy there, because if you don't want to belong to the Islamic club, then don't join the club. But if you're in that club, then you have to wear it, right? So no discrepancy there. So Andrew Doyle is on track. So far, he's really on track.
shouldn't be that surprising to us that in a theocratic country you have these religious laws coming in, and that's just the way.
He's right again. It's a theocratic country. If you are Malaysian and you are surprised, then I don't know where you've been living all these years. But when you live in Malaysia, I live there, I know, if you're Muslim, you have to follow Sharia law. I've always known that. I don't follow Sharia law because I'm not a Muslim, but my Muslim friends do because they are Muslim. I don't see them having any issue with it. They're quite happy to follow along.
You know, I'm surprised.
Sorry, my phone, because I have a password on it, so it keeps going off.
It's considered a controversy over there.
Yeah, it probably isn't.
Right, then he says he's quite surprised that in Malaysia it's considered a controversy. I am also surprised because if you are living in Malaysia and you are a Muslim, you know that that is what the Sharia law says, right? Like the things about the compliance and all that, and then probably about striking your wife. That is Sharia law. So I don't know why Muslims are surprised. As for non-Muslims, I also don't know why you are surprised, because you live there. You should know Sharia law because you are living in the country. You should know the law of the country. You have friends, I'm sure, who are Muslims. You should speak to them because I'm sure they will tell you that that is how it is. So controversy, I don't understand why there's a controversy. Not at all. Because those people who subscribe to Islam, that's their law. Right?
No, probably not.
Have you been practicing these methods at home, Ian? What? My undisciplined partner, yeah.
Okay, now you heard him make fun of that, which I find doesn't make sense, because these two white guys are talking to each other and he's asking, are you complying? So they're just joking. Now, of course, it's a joke, yes, but they can joke about it because this is not their religion. They don't subscribe to it. In fact, by them laughing, they are looking down on it, they are demeaning it, they are ridiculing it. I don't know why they are doing that, because it should not even bother them, because this is not their religion. Of course, some people, oh, it should bother them because it's about beating women. Yeah, but do they know the full story? Okay, but anyway, let's continue. Oh, now the internet is okay.
I mean, there's guidance here. Speak to your husbands when they are calm, finished eating, have prayed, and are relaxed. I mean, there's a little small window, I believe, when he's full, he's had a pray, he's done whatever. Yeah, is this what this is about? Is this an Islamic religious thing in the main?
I think it's just an article exploiting the cultural differences.
It is the
It
culture.
sounds ridiculous, though, doesn't it? And it sounds,
does, but-
and you're going, you're the Deputy Minister for Women. I mean, what's the Minister for Women like? Spouting nonsense like this. You do worry about Malaysia. It's a woman saying it as well. What?
Okay, now he said he worries for Malaysia. Now, first of all, he's a white man living in Britain. I don't see why he's worried about Malaysia, because I think, just my opinion, that Malaysian people should worry about Malaysia. Because colonization is over, right? You don't care about what white people in other countries are saying, because Malaysia, they live in that country, they have their laws, they have to do what is right for their country. So if there are Muslim women who have an issue with this, I'm sure they will speak up. But then on the other hand, I don't think they're going to say anything about it, because it's from Allah. And the other thing is, when it comes to people from other countries or other religions talking about or ridiculing or demeaning or misinterpreting other religions. I think the best thing you should do is, you can go on Google, like now, this is Quora, okay? I'll link the thing below here. You just have to read what people say there. You can speak to your Muslim friends. They will explain it to you. You can go to an imam. They will explain it to you, because that's what I did. And since I don't subscribe to that religion, I have to leave it to those people who actually subscribe to that religion to decide what is right and what is wrong. Because again, like I said, okay, this is taking very long to open. They are the people who have to live by this law, not me. And if they are okay by living by this law, then why is it an issue to me? Because also the way it was described to me is that word strike or beat your wife, that is not the correct translation of the word, which makes sense because, even with the Bible, a lot of the things in the Bible gets lost in translation because the Bible was written in Hebrew. By the time it gets to English, it had to go through Latin and blah blah and Greek and whatever. But same with Arabic. If you don't really speak Arabic, you are just going on what you think it is, or you have to be a scholar or something, or to understand it. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because the Wi-Fi is not working. So this here is from Quora, okay, which anyone, but I'll link it below. Anyone can find this. It says here, this is by someone who studies at some Islamic school. He says, this is a controversial and misunderstood verse of the Quran. In order to understand the verse, we must refer to the original text in the Arabic language that are still understood today. And then the Arabic text is there. So then it will say what it says. Men are in charge of women by right of what Allah has given one over the other and what they spend for maintenance from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first advise them. Then if they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. But if they obey, you once more seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted and grand. Okay? So again, it's not the Minister of Women in Malaysia who are saying this. It's God saying this because it's from the Quran. So already when you listen to her speak, you must have that in your mind, that this is from the highest Muslim authority, which is God. Right. Now also, if you are living in Malaysia, you must understand when this woman is talking like this, she is referring to those women in Malaysia who are governed under Sharia law. So you don't have to get your little panties in a knot, because if you are not Muslim, it does not apply to you. It only applies to those Muslim women because they are governed under Sharia law. Okay, so like me, I listen and I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. And I move on with my life because it's not about me. My friend who is Muslim, she's listening like, the ears are going like that. So then it goes on about, now it says here, now let us take a look at the consequence of interpreting adribu. Adribu is that word that is used to beat. So the Arabic word used here, adribu, from the root, has several dozens of meanings, such as to beat, but also to forsake, to avoid, to separate, to leave, to part. So how do we know which interpretation to choose? One way to find out is to relate this verse to other verses in the glorious Quran and to check if the meaning makes sense. In this case, let us look at verse 24 and 24-2, which describes what should be done in cases of adultery. And then they continue further about what it means. So of course, if you are a Muslim, you would have the patience to go through all of this and see what that word means, and then you would know how to interpret it. But of course, for us here judging on the sidelines, we just like to jump to conclusions and interpret what we want to interpret, right? Which is, it happens the same with Christianity. So basically, what I would advise people is that if you want to understand what the Minister of Women in Malaysia is talking about, you must first of all know Malaysian law, you must know Islam, you must know Muslim people in Malaysia, and better still, you have to live there to understand how complex Malaysia is. Okay? That would be my advice. So, that's all I have to say about this very short video, but I think it covers everything. So, cheers.